a country with the largest oil reserves in the world. Yet its people are starving, its money is worthless, and millions have fled. Then, its president was arrested by the United States. China is furious. Russia once offered to trade Venezuela for Ukraine. The question is simple. Is Nicolás Maduro a victim of imperialism or the architect of his country's destruction? This video will answer that, from beginning to end. Section 1. The big context. Venezuela is not a small or insignificant country. It holds the largest oil reserves in the world. That means whoever controls Venezuela controls energy, money, and geopolitical influence. Yet over the past decade, Venezuela has changed dramatically. Hyperinflation, food shortages, a medical crisis, repression, and mass migration. And at the center of it all stands one figure, Nicolás Maduro. Section 2. The 5 moral sins of Maduro's policies. 1. Hyperinflation that destroyed lives. Under Maduro, Venezuela experienced extreme hyperinflation. The currency collapsed. Wages could no longer buy food. People's savings turned into worthless paper. This was not a natural disaster. It was the result of a total failure in economic policy, printing money without any productive foundation. 2. The destruction of the national oil industry. Venezuela has abundant oil, yet production collapsed. The causes are clear: mismanagement of PDVSA, political appointments, corruption, and lack of maintenance. National resources were not used to improve people's lives, but to preserve power. 3. Price controls. That triggered shortages. Maduro imposed strict price controls on basic goods. The result: producers lost money, stopped production, supply chains broke, store shelves emptied, long lines everywhere. Food and medicine shortages were not caused by lack of resources, but by fundamentally misguided policy. 4. Repression of public protests. When hungry and desperate people took to the streets, the state's response was not solutions, but repression. Protests were crushed, activists were arrested, the media was silenced. Criticism was treated as a threat, not a warning. 5. Mass exodus as the people's verdict. Millions of Venezuelans chose to leave. Not to chase dreams, but to survive. Doctors, teachers, and skilled workers fled. This became the most honest verdict on the state's failure to care for its people. Section 3. 31 tons of gold and the role of Britain. Since 2019, 31 tons of Venezuelan gold have been frozen at the Bank of England. Britain refused to hand the gold to Maduro's government because it does not recognize him as the legitimate president, and instead recognized opposition leader Juan Guaidó. As a result, state assets could not be used for medical or economic needs. Sanctions were not the only problem. The credibility of Maduro's regime had collapsed internationally. Section 4. The Venezuelan military and the U.S. operation. When the United States carried out a rapid operation, the Venezuelan military did not mount significant resistance. Why? There were allegations of elite negotiations, extreme technological asymmetry, and a lightning-fast strike that paralyzed command structures. This revealed one thing clearly: the regime appeared strong at home, but was fragile at the strategic level. Section 5. China angry, Russia. Playing China. China condemned Maduro's arrest by the United States, calling it a violation of sovereignty and international law. But this was not only about principles. China has major economic interests in Venezuela. Russia. Even more striking, it was revealed that Russia once floated a geopolitical bargain to the U.S., Venezuela, in exchange for Ukraine. The meaning is clear. For great powers, Venezuela is not a humanitarian tragedy. It is a global bargaining chip. Section 6. Conclusion. Victim or perpetrator. Nicolás Maduro is not merely a victim of imperialism, and he is not the only cause of the crisis. But one fact cannot be denied: his internal policies have morally devastated his own people. Venezuela collapsed not because of a single factor, but because of the convergence of failed leadership and ruthless geopolitics. If a wealthy country can be destroyed, not because it lacks resources, but because of mismanagement and a distorted use of power, then the real question is no longer who Venezuela's enemies are, but who bears the greatest responsibility.